A major cruise line executive expressed concerns about crime in the capital. Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygaard found guilty in court, and hundreds of residents forced to flee their homes over a fire at the New Providence landfill. We've got those stories and others. I'm your host, Krishna Virgil, and this is the Tribune's Top 5. Crime in the capital has one major cruise line concerned for the safety of its passengers. A major international cruise line executive said on Tuesday that he's concerned about crime levels in the country, stressing that we want our guests to be safe in the Bahamas, where more than 600 murders have been recorded under the Progressive Liberal Party's term in office. Michael Bailey, President and Chief Executive Officer of Royal Caribbean International, told the Tribune if customers do not feel safe visiting the country, they will no longer vacation here, adding that these concerns have been communicated to the government through the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. There have been 32 murders so far in 2017, taking the murder toll in nearly 5 years under the Christie administration to 601, according to the Tribune's records. Mr. Bailey's remarks come 2 weeks after Bahama executive Graham Davis, Chow Tai Fook Enterprises Bahamas president, suggested that if the Christie administration is unable to control crime, the country's tourism product could be headed in a negative direction. Nonetheless, Mr. Bailey said the cruise line, which brings around 1.7 million visitors to the country each year, is committed to maintaining a concrete relationship with the country and plans to double visitor numbers over the next 10 years. He made the comments on the sidelines of a heads of agreement signing between RCI and the government for a $40 million fixed-pair cruise port at Coco Cay, also known as Little Stir Key in the Berry Islands. Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis on Tuesday night revealed that negotiations for a coalition between the FNM and the Democratic National Alliance failed because DNA leader Bradley McCartney wanted 16 seats uncontested and an agreement for his party to have the final say on the makeup of the government, including who would be named prime minister. Upon hearing the demands of Mr. McCartney, Dr. Minnis told a ruckus crowd of party supporters that he reverted back to my younger days growing up in Bain and Grantstown and the Grove, and I told Brad where to go. Dr. Minnis said he was not prepared to give away the FNM or pander to oversized egos, and blamed the former Bamboo Town MP for enabling the Progressive Liberal Party to win the 2012 general election, causing pain and suffering over the last 5 years. According to the Killarney MP, Mr. McCartney demanded that the FNM did not contest the Bamboo Town constituency, Seabreeze, Garden Hills, Carmichael, Golden Isles, Southern Shores, Marathon, Elizabeth, Pinewood, Fox Hill, Golden Gates, North Abaco, Central and South Abaco, Marco City, Yamacraw, and to have the St. Thomas More constituency if there was one. The DNA further wanted an agreement that should they be successful, the party would be tasked with deciding the deputy prime minister, the makeup of cabinet, and ambassadors, Dr. Minnis said. This deal, he said, was bound to bring instability to government. The details of the failed coalition discussions came to light during the FNM's final ratification on Tuesday night at the party's headquarters on Mackey Street. The party ratified 5 candidates, including Dr. Minnis for Killarney, Shannon Don Cartwright for St. Barnabas, former Deputy Prime Minister Brent Simonet for the St. Anne's constituency, Lakeisha Parker for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, and Reverend Von Miller for Golden Isles. Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygaard was slapped with a $50,000 fine in court this week. Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygaard was convicted of contempt of court and fined $50,000 by a judge on Wednesday for breach of the Supreme Court's order concerning illegal dredging near his property in Lyford Key. A spokesperson for Nygaard said his team disagrees with the judge's ruling, adding that while Nygaard paid the $50,000 fine before the specified deadline, he will appeal the ruling. If the fine was not paid by March 21st, Nygaard faced 14 days in prison. He was further ordered to remove the excavated sand and return it to George's Beach by April 7th or face additional fines. Justice Rhonda Bain also awarded legal costs to Save the Bays, a local environmental group which has brought several judicial review cases against Nygaard over offshore construction works allegedly carried out in the absence of necessary permits and approvals, and which have resulted in the near doubling of the size of his property. According to one estimate of 27 days in court, the cost could near $1 million. The ruling by Justice Bain followed an unsuccessful application by Gia Moxie, an associate of Elliott Lockhart QC and lead counsel for Nygaard, to have the ruling by Justice Bain followed an unsuccessful application by Gia Moxie, an associate of Elliott Lockhart QC and lead counsel for Nygaard, to have the ruling on Wednesday's committal proceedings adjourned until May, as the Lyford Key resident did not want the ruling to be handed down in the absence of Mr. Lockhart, whose mother died on Sunday. Mr. Nygaard's calendar, according to Ms. Moxie, was booked out for several weeks, and he could not attend court at an earlier date. even after Justice Bain allowed a recess to determine an earlier date for the matter to render the decision given Mr. Lockhart's personal circumstances. Tourism Minister Obi Wolshcom announced in a statement Thursday that the government has decided to limit the number of gaming house operator licenses granted in the Bahamas to 8, a number that will be reviewed after a 10-year period. Web shop bosses who form the Gaming House Operators Association advocated for this, urging the government to place a moratorium on the granting of new operator licenses out of concern that the industry would otherwise become saturated. Mr. Wolshcom compared the government's decision to the restriction on the number of casino operations allowed in New Providence and Grand Bahama. However, the restriction does not prevent the minister from issuing a request for proposal for a gaming house operator license in the event that an existing operator loses its license for some reason. Importantly, no such moratorium has been placed on the number of web shop houses that will be allowed to exist in the country or on the number of such houses each operator will be allowed to have.
Jubilee Gardens residents have still not returned to their homes after a fire at the New Providence landfill on Sunday.
Environment Minister Kenred Dorset on Wednesday said there is no definite date set for when Jubilee Gardens residents will be able to return to their homes, as he revealed details of the government's comprehensive plan to tackle the chronic issues at the New Providence landfill. In the House of Assembly, the Southern Shores MP said the Christie administration's plan involves shipping used tires at the landfill out of the country, methane extraction technologies to mitigate against future fires, and additional water wells drilled and trenched around the entire site to better facilitate firefighting efforts, among other things. Beyond revealing that the shipping company tasked with handling the dump's used tires would visit the landfill later this week, Mr. Dorset did not give a definite timeline of when the measures would take effect. He said he also reached out to the United States government for assistance. However, he did not go into detail regarding how the U.S. might assist, but he said discussions on this matter were ongoing. Residents in Jubilee Gardens evacuated their homes on Sunday after a fire at the landfill blanketed the community in thick, black, hazardous smoke. The fire also threatened some homes in the area. However, officials have said no houses were destroyed. In this regard, Mr. Dorset said assessments of homes and businesses will begin in earnest once the fire at the landfill has completely been extinguished.
Want to get in on the discussion? Well, here's how you can. Just log on to our website at www.tribune242.com, like us on Facebook, the Tribune News Network, send us a tweet at Tribune242, or subscribe to our YouTube page, Tribune242.